Well, I'm a data guy. I like numbers and statistics. I don't really see like that because I have a short attention span, but I do. So I'm always looking for data that will sort of give me a little bit of a picture of what's going on in the world. You know, you're out there fighting your own little battle every day, and it's hard to get a big picture. You watch the nightly news and they just tell you about bombs or something like that, and you don't know where the country's going. And see, to me, if you have a better sense of where the country's going, then if there's a wave starting, you get on that wave, because that's a lot easier than swimming across the tide or having no wave at all and trying to swim. So this is some data I've seen in the last week or so that I think is pretty important, and give you a little perspective on where you want to concentrate your efforts. You know, because we could change our own life. We may not be able to change the life out there. You know, that takes a lot of work and maybe a different kind that I'll ever be interested in. But you could change your own area of life and what you're doing in your life. And that's why to get a picture on where the world is going, and so you don't fight it, but you work with it somehow. Like here, how the rich are getting richer. Yeah, we hear that all the time. But here's some real data, you know, that shows that and quantifies that. Like now, the top 10%, look at this graph. You can see it in this graph here. You know, the up and down. This graph goes from 1920 to about 2012. And see, up at the top in 2012, 50% of all the income in this country goes to the top 10%. So the top 10% are getting 50% of the income. Wow. And see, back in the 60s and 70s, almost about the beginning of the 80s, it was only about 30% of the income. So they have increased their share from like 30-some% to now over 50%, you know, of the income. And it even shows, like, even in the income in the after the recession and how we're starting to grow again, they're getting about 90% of all the additional income that's created in this country. So that's an interesting thing to look at, to see what's going on. You don't want to be down there in that 90%. So how do you get your butt up to the 10%? Or if you're going to work on the changing policies to maybe change the rules a little bit. But anyway, no matter what you do, this is the real data. This is IRS data. Economists go out and look at the real figures from the government. And here the top 1% are now making over 20% of all the income. So 20% of all the income in this country goes to the top 1%. And that used to be down to like 10%. You know, just about 20, 30 years ago. And for, you know, in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, the top 1% was making about 10%. Now the top 1% is making 20-some%, like 24% I think it is. But here's another piece of data on that topic too. It's where your income has gone. Okay, if you look at that top 10%, now it's a little hard to see on this graph maybe, but you see the little bar on the left-hand side there, the real little one? That shows you since 1966 what your wage increase has been if you were part of the 90%. So 90% of the people in America since 1966 only got a raise, listen to this, $59. $59. So you came out of school or whatever in 1966, because that's about when I got out of college, is 1966, and started to work. Today, the average of the 90% of the people only got a raise of $59. So now at 70 years old, I'd be making $59 more than I was at 21 years old. So that's what's going on in our country, you know. I mean, but now the top 10%, they can't even make that bar big enough on the page. They said it would be 163 feet high. So the bar from that little couple inches on the bottom on the left-hand side, the next bar for the 10% would be $116,000. So the top 10% got a raise of $116,000, you know, versus the bottom 90% got a raise at $59,000. Where do you want to be, right? Or the top 1%, listen to this, got a raise of $628,000. Wow! So, I don't know who's deserving, but you want to figure out how to be deserving or change the system or work like hell to be one of them. Because otherwise, God, you imagine for 50 years, your wages only go up $59. 90% of the country that happened. So that's one piece of data. Here's another piece of data that's interesting, is pensions. Everybody's working for a pension, and I think that is so silly, because you should be working now for what today is, not what something 50 years from now is going to be. Nobody knows anyway. Like here, look at this. This headline here, Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae are eliminating pensions. Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae, these are corporations started by the government. So they're government-subsidized companies. They're never going to go out of business, right? They were just bailed out and things like that. They're cutting out their pensions, right? And they're not the only one. And actually, I see in the state governments, it used to be the government was the best place to get a pension and things like that. Man, that's changing. State governments are in financial trouble. They're changing that, and I'm sure the feds will get to it soon. But Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, they're sure. Now, here's a chart, too, that shows you about top 100 companies in the United States. Look at the left-hand side of that graph, where you see the line on top that's for traditional benefit plans. That's when your corporation put money for you in a retirement plan. So almost like 90% of the retirement plans were that way, where the corporation put all the money in. That's what it was. This is back in 1985. So we had 90% of the companies putting in retirement money for you. Okay, and only about 10% had retirement plans where you had to put in the money. Now look at this, 2012, it's the reverse. You're putting in all your own money into a retirement plan that's run by the company. And there's very few companies that are putting their money in there for you. So you're still support your own retirement plan. So don't count on some big company taking care of you for the rest of your life or whatever. Man, nothing's guaranteed anymore. And investing in yourself, investing in you, that's what it's all about. I mean, to me, that's what we should be doing, whether it's skills or whatever. So we keep current. We know that we can go across the street because we have the skills to get a better job even than one we have now. And no matter what age you are, look at it, even at 70, I feel like I'm trying to learn everything now so I could compete in the world today. And now actually go to college. You go to college now for free at 70. So it takes you 2 years or something like that. Man, you got 10, 20 more years to work. What the heck? And you go to school for free too, because you're an old fart like me. Actually, it starts about 60 on that. So those are interesting data. Now here's another set of data about disability rules. Okay, I know the program is a government program. If you can't work, you have a disability, they pay you. It's a small sum. It's like maybe $1,200, $1,300 a month or something. You get disability for that. But the important thing too is that you get, after 2 years in disability, you get Medicare. No matter what age you are, you get the same health insurance that I get now from the government, and I don't pay. So people are going onto these roles because of the bad economy. They have grown since like 2000. There was 5 million people on disability. Now there's almost 9 million people. So that's almost double that. So people can't find work, and they're older people that have some kind of disabilities or whatever, and have trouble working or whatever, and they go on and figure out how they get disability because they don't have options in life. And that's a pity. And that's why even before you get that, I mean, you can't go back again. We talked about going back to school. Go to community college, become a healthcare professional. 2 years, you probably get that paid for too. And you could be starting a job at $50,000. Even those that people on disability would rather work if they could find a job, but it's hard. So you have to go back and get trained. Somehow in order to keep up, particularly if you're an older person. I mean, you got to get the new skills nowadays to compete, and our community college system is set up for that kind of thing. I ran an item too a little while ago on how you could go to school if you're computer inclined. You don't even need a degree or anything. They'll send you could take a free course for 9 weeks, and when you graduate, they guarantee you a job for $90,000 a year. Right. No high school degree, 9 weeks of training, $90,000 a year. So go on my YouTube site, it's YouTube /Matthew Lesko 70, and you'll see video explaining that. But I mean, there are options out there without going on disability. And if you have trouble with disability, don't forget there's lawyers out there that will take a percentage, if they fight the government for you. But before you do any of those things, number one, find your local elected official. If you're having trouble with the disability getting on, or they're not treating you right, your local elected official, your congressman, senator, has special offices that could help you, and they're free. They're not going to, you want to use all the free stuff first. Also call 211. That's your local aid hotline for nonprofit organizations. Find a nonprofit organizations that help fight the disability claims before you want to share this money with some ambulance chasing lawyer. Yeah. Okay, now for some good news. Look at this headline that came out this week. U.S. surpasses Saudi Arabia in world's top energy producer. Man, we produce more energy than Saudi Arabia. I've been around here for a long time, and I remember in the 70s, we're going to be, the world is going to be over because we can't produce energy and things like this, and the Middle East is going to rule the world. Even 3-4 years ago, that's why, or 10 years ago, why we went to war. Worried about the oil. Now, we have more oil than anybody else, man, so you never know where the good stuff is going to come from. So that's right. To me, it's just keep playing. Keep playing. The longer you keep playing, the more other things have a chance to happen, and that's good. So even all the bad stuff that's happening in the world, man, there's some good stuff here. We're now the super energy producers, and people are buying it from us.